Okay, something we have to speak to is the walkthrough. The final walkthrough just before closing oftentimes happens the morning of closing. Typically 24 hours. I'd say 48, we're stretching it. We've seen times where perhaps the home was unoccupied because sellers have moved out, buyers are ready to move in, whatever the reason. And within that last 48 hours, the AC was going, keeping it cool for the buyer. And as the AC was going, it began to leak. And it flooded the house. I remember that story like yesterday. And thankfully, both parties were people of integrity. We tend to attract those people. Wonderful. And they did what needed to be done to facilitate whatever remedies were in place for that. So just know we suggest morning of closing so that before it conveys ownership, you know what the final conditions were. Oftentimes you'll see things in the wall that you didn't notice were there because there was a couch there before, or a dresser there, or a mirror hanging there. Oh, there's a discoloration in paint there. And so it does present opportunities to know, okay, what's going to be the first few items I do once moving in. And so we do encourage walkthroughs. If you're going to choose not to have a walkthrough, then you by all means can sign a document to say that and say, I'm just choosing not to have the walkthrough and I understand my risk. Or we'll have you select, yes, we did facilitate a walkthrough. Either way, we'll want you to acknowledge which route you're journeying. And it could be for different reasons. Maybe you're out of town and you prefer a virtual. So we'll have you to put in writing that, hey, we did a virtual walkthrough. I'm okay with doing it this way. Perhaps have someone meet there that you trust to do a physical boots on ground walkthrough as you may be virtual when it comes to buying a home. So when it comes to selling a home, because I want to send this to those people as well, you'll want to make sure that AC, I'm not a property manager, so I can't facilitate managing the property. Texas prohibits that. And so you'll want to make sure the AC is what it needs to be set on to ensure it's not going to leak, like we spoke to before, that all those doors are secured and locked. You don't want any squatters. Squatters, be it two-legged or four-legged. So we just want to make sure we do the due diligence, added due diligence around the property from the selling perspective to ensure that the home that's being conveyed to the buyer is as expected. And for buying, the goal is to just walk to confirm nothing has changed from the mechanics standpoint. You're looking for, you know what, this was not there. This roof was not quite caved in when we went under contract. And so that's the goal, is prior to contract or at the time of contract, is the home being conveyed in the same condition, minus repairs, of course, that would have been modified there. So I believe and trust this is all I want for you to think through as we're thinking about the walkthrough that's coming up. Just be prepared for us to start to facilitate a time that works for that. Garages are typically forgiven. There shouldn't be anything left in the home unless it was agreed to. And if it does fund and it's left there, my understanding, I'm no attorney, is that it does go to the buyer if it's left there after funding. Now, if there are accommodations made and that conversation is held or had, aside from my knowledge, by all means, okay, I can't police that. And yet, if it's left there and the transaction has funded, the buyer is the new owner of said items. Okay, I trust that's helpful. Moving out as a seller, I want to say this to you too, for my sellers. Here's what I want you to remember. The things that are attached to the home stay unless otherwise excluded in the contract. So if it's an appliance that is affixed to the property, many built-in microwaves as an example, range ovens as an example, dishwashers, like we're not going to go and uninstall items and then say, here you go, if it had it not been written previously in the contract and are agreed to by all parties. Okay. So I want to mention that because sometimes people love their ceiling fans and their light fixtures and their faucets that touch, and you just wave at it and it comes, whatever it may be. If it's not an accessory and it is indeed an added fixture item affixed to the home. In other words, if you were to flip it upside down, if it's an improvement to the home, if you were to flip it upside down, the house upside down, what falls is necessary. We can consider that an accessory. But if it stays and it's upside down, it goes with the house. It conveys unless otherwise excluded. So thought I'd share that little tip in there. So please, before the final walk, let's just confirm if we're not sure. It is in the contract. It lists out several things that you can consider an improvement versus an accessory and so forth. If you need help determining what those items are, let me know. All righty. Have an amazing day ahead. Let's talk through questions you have. You should have also received more information about your closing location already. And you'll probably see me trying to click off the video at the end so you can get a good laugh, right? You should have received that prior to this video so that it makes sense with, okay, we're preparing for the walkthrough. Now we need to talk, but we're preparing for closing and we need to talk about the walkthrough kind of hand in hand. Okay, here for questions. We'll talk soon. Take care.